Womp, 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 womp. All right. What's good, my people? We are live. This is the Man Cave Live Edition. I'm your host. I'm the only one that was available today, and we need to create content for this channel. So, thinking about my co-hosts, I will try to do the best that I can to make maybe a really good video or something, or some type of conversation, right? All right. And today's live video, I decided to talk about one of Biden's proposals if he's president. We're not really sure until December, but I mean, it kind of looks like he's going to be president. So we'll just go with that. Biden is president for the sake of argument. And, he's pretty cool. One of the proposals that he wanted to push out, hopefully next year or really soon, is a $15,000 tax credit for homes for FHA buyers. And that's pretty huge. 15,000 is a lot of money, especially when you're purchasing your first home. There's thousands of dollars that you need to come up with at closing, and whatever sort of benefit you can get from the government is Gucci, man. You got to take advantage of that stuff. The $15,000 tax credit is similar to Obama's and George Bush's tax credit during their special crises. Bush pushed out like a 7,000 or 8,000 tax credit for first home buyers. But it's in the way that you get that tax credit, which is different. With Bush's, you had to claim that tax credit at the end of the tax year. So you basically go to whoever does your taxes, and you just do the paperwork to get $7,000 back on your taxes. Well, not 7,000 back on your taxes, but there's a $7,000 credit on your taxes. So if you did owe money, that would overlap it, and you probably wouldn't owe money anymore. The difference with Biden's is that he wants you to have that $15,000 tax credit at closing, and that's freaking awesome. You know, closing costs alone are like, depending on the house and the lender, between $6,000 to $12,000. I've paid like $10,000 before. Closing costs are crazy. And then the deposit. When you're a first home buyer, you put 3.5% down of the cost of the home, and people don't like to do math, so we'll do some math for you. So you put 3.5% down, right, on a $100,000. Well, not even $100,000. What house in New England costs $100,000? Probably like a beat up house, right? So 3.5% on a, let's say, average $350,000 house, right? Comes out to, let me pull out my calculator real quick because I really suck at this. 350. My iPad sucks. All right, so 350 times 0.35 is about $12,500, right? So you got to put $12,500 on a $350,000 house, and then you also got closing costs, which will bump up the total closing amount to, like, let's say $17,000, right? So we'll just take this out. So total cost around, yeah, let's say 18,000, because you never know, these lawyers and stuff, they're always trying to penny pinching and nickel and diming and stuff. So you got $18,000 that you got to come up with at closing. And you know, with this $15,000 tax credit, you'd be able to just basically right off the bat take off $15,000 right off that 18,000. I don't know the exact details of Joe Biden's $15,000 tax proposal for these FHA loans. I don't think a lot of people do. I think it was just one of those campaign things that he was running with, and he didn't have a full like layout of the plan. But it sounds like he wants it at closing, and whatever it would be the lender that would have to get that 15,000 from government or some sort of documentation to that credit. That way you just walk away with only having to pay for whatever's left is $3. So that's amazing. That's I didn't hear Trump proposing anything during his yeah, 12,250. My math sucks. At least for now, because my iPad, I don't know why my like didn't come with the calculator app. Download a third party app, and now it's gonna like work that properly. So I'm gonna put that away. But yeah, like I was saying, being able to walk away from the closing table with only having to put $3,000 down for a brand new home is like amazing, because that other $15,000 that you would have had to put down, now you can invest it in a home. If it has a crappy kitchen, now you can upgrade that kitchen. You can do small renovations or even buy new furniture, because most people who buy their first home are coming from a significantly smaller home, so they have to fill their new home with furniture, right? Sofas and stuff. I don't know if people still buy sofas, but I hear they are expensive. Yes, I do have a sofa. I have a bunch of sofas, but I don't pay for them. My wife does. So anyway, so that's awesome. $15,000 credit. Donald Trump is it's kind of lacking in that department, because what we really need now as a nation is a very, very strong middle class. And the way things are set up, it's not really looking good for the middle class. So whatever can get low income individuals to own property and to increase their wealth is better for the nation, and it's just good for families, um specifically if you want to buy like a multifamily house, which I always recommend. Purchasing a multifamily house and being a landlord isn't everyone. um it comes with its pros and cons, but to me, I think in the long run, owning a multifamily home is the way to go. If like filter out some of the bad apples when you're renting out the unit, and try to find a family or an individual that is competent and willing to pay whatever your rental fees are, then they could potentially be paying for the for the property themselves, and you're essentially living there for free. you know so that's another thing to consider when you're going out to get an FHA loan, that is looking into multi-family units. You know, um, multifamily units. I own a multifamily unit. It's a brand new unit. I didn't purchase it with FHA, but my first multifamily unit I did purchase with FHA. One of the rules of FHA is you got to live on the property at least for the first year before you move out and rent out that the apartment that you were living in. So that's one of the things I did. I lived in the multifamily for a year, and then I moved out because I just wanted to live closer to Boston at the time, and we rented out both units, and we were essentially living in our apartment for free, and the home was also being paid for by the tenants. So um, in the long run, like you build an equity, you know, and FHA alone helps the middle class a lot. It helps people get out of the lower class and into the middle class because you're building equity. You're owning a home. You're learning more about taxes. And believe me, like write-offs are a big thing when you're owning a multifamily home. Like whatever you purchase at Home Depot is a write-off for that home. Like even if it's a small bag of chips, believe me, everything counts. Write-offs are big. So that would be like the first thing that I would look into is a multi-family home. That's literally like one of the best advice that I got. My parents owned multi-family homes. They were their first home was a multi-family home, and their wealth just jumped. Like we were living in an apartment, it was kind of stagnant, and then when we purchased a multi-family home, it was like our wealth just like doubled or tripled because now we weren't really paying for rent. Even if we were paying for a mortgage, that money comes back to you when one, you refinance the house or when you sell the house. When I sold my home in Brockton, I made six figures. It was dope. I was like, holy shit. Now I can just buy another multifamily home with a conventional loan and then move my FHA for my primary home, which is what I'm living in right now. You know, so right now my primary home, I'm not even paying the mortgage. Oh, I mean, I'm paying the mortgage, but my tenants are technically paying for my home. My tenants are paying for the apartment complex that they live in and for my home, and nothing's really coming out of my pocket. In fact, I'm getting like a small allowance just after paying all that stuff off with their money, and I'm just growing wealth. So I give a big thumbs up to Biden for that proposal. I'm hoping that he does that. I really hope that he continues pushing for that proposal and it wasn't like, how Donald Trump promised a wall. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I ain't seen no wall in Mexico in the Mexican border. I see no wall there. That was just, one of those campaign running Logans. You like, oh, I'm gonna build that wall, and then people were like, oh yeah, yeah. Nah, man. Like if Joe Biden, promised a 15,000 tax credit, that he gotta go the distance with that one. Definitely, especially in this economy. Like a lot of people are struggling. There was like 40 million people that were unemployed. I think it's really important that he pushes for that, so that way we can maintain the middle class. That middle class is so essential for everyone. Like if we don't have a middle class and it just becomes like this really low class and then just the elites, that's gonna suck. Like I don't even think I would want to live in America anymore if there's no significant middle class. Like I would have to like move to, I don't know, Jamaica or something and do IT remotely. I don't even know. But yeah. So look into that $15,000 tax credit. Obviously on this page on this channel, we'll bring it back up to see if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris keeps pushing for that proposal. So Yeah, so that's really today. I didn't really have a lot of content for you guys. I kind of just, I wanted to that because people are for increasing taxes. Hold up, just think there's a lot of foreclosures coming with the COVID going on. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of foreclosures. So the thing is, recently I was paying my mortgage. Uh, yeah, I was paying my mortgage on my rental property, and I always look at the late fees. Like, what would the late fee be if I ever paid late? And I always check it. I never know why. I don't know why I check it because I always pay on time. I pay like super early. But I just happened to look at it, and normally it's the late fee after the 15th of the month is like $50, right? But now, when I took a look at it for this month, the late fee is almost $2,000. That's huge. That's like literally another mortgage. They're like charging you two mortgages for being late. It's like crazy. So, do I think there's foreclosures coming? I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, with the forbearance program, and how it could push out your payments for 12 months and just add it to the end of the loan, that's beneficial. I think that's gonna staff off a lot of foreclosures, and it's gonna get people back on track onto paying mortgages. But at the same time, there's a cost to that forbearance, right? Nothing's free. The banks are bleeding money because of these forbearance programs, and they have to figure out a way to recuperate a lot of that money because they also got to pay fees on on these AAA packages. It's like super complicated. But when a bank gives you a loan, right? The loan gets packed up with other loans and it's sold off to like investors and stuff, and the bank has to pay fees if these interest rates are not paid off, or not paid on time, right? So this forbearance is a big problem for banks because they need that interest that you're paying on the loan to pay off like a lot of their investors and stuff. So it can be problematic. And I think one of the ways that they're overcoming this is to increase the late fee like stupid drastic. Like $2,000 for a late fee. They're either trying to, catch people off guard and charging late fees like crazy, or they're like basically telling us, look, don't let us catch you be late. You gotta pay your mortgage, or we're charging you literally another month of mortgage on top of your mortgage. And that's crazy. So I don't know if there's gonna be another wave of foreclosures. That's really it's tough to see. I know there's gonna be a lot of people getting kicked out their homes because of like this rental crisis. All these people can't pay their rent. Um, Yeah, that's the only thing I see coming. Just a bunch of people getting kicked out of their homes. But also that's just wrong in a lot of ways. But it is what it is. I don't know if I would kick my tenants out, but when push comes just to shove, and I need to put food on my kids' table, yeah, I'm kicking people out. I'm definitely go to court and get that money back. At the same time, like when you invest money, there's no promise that you'll make money. Like people think like, oh, I'm gonna invest it and I'm definitely gonna make money back. That's not how it really works. Like you take on a certain amount of risk with any sort of investment. Even if it's just a single family home, there's a risk. If there's a multifamily home, there's a risk. You getting tenants that don't pay on time, that's just part of the risk. That's part of the game, man. Like it is what it is. I know a lot of like landlords will say the same thing to the tenants. Look, you wanted to live here as part of the game. You got to pay rent even if you don't got a job. Well, I mean, it's also part of the game that the tenants don't play by your game. So that's what I see. I just see a wave of evictions. And I don't know how much. I don't know what Joe Biden can do about it. I don't even know if it's up to him, but someone's got to do something about it. And that's it. Um, yeah. So let's hope that Joe Biden gets us this 15,000, this $15,000 tax credit, because that'd be huge. Because like I'm looking to buy another home, and I might wait again to purchase another home if this 15,000 tax bracket thing, tax credit thing pulls through. I might wait and be like, hold up, let me wait until this comes through because I could use another $15,000. Uh, my girl, she doesn't have a home yet technically, so she can use her FHA. That's also another thing. Like people don't understand that everyone gets a FHA, right? If you're married and and you guys both purchased the home, this is my interpretation. This is what I've heard. I don't know if anyone's heard differently. But if you're married and you purchase a home together and you're both on the loan, you both just wasted your FHA on each other. I would recommend, if you are married and you're looking to purchase a home, try to purchase it individually. That way you guys can both use up your FHA. If you're a husband and you want to purchase a home and you really don't need your wife on the loan because you make enough money to purchase that home or get the loan for it, I would suggest that you just purchase the home, or at least you take the loan out with just your name. You could put your wife on the deed as ownership. That's not a problem, but just keep the loan under your name. That way she can retain her FHA. And then if you guys want to purchase another property, you know, just use her FHA and just use her income to purchase it. There's a little bit of finagling to prove that you're going to be living there for a year, but I'm not an advisor. I'm just saying, like, just do you, just do you. All I'm saying is that each individual gets a FHA. All right, don't make the mistake of both being on that loan, because you just wasted an FHA. And 3.5% down is stupid cheap compared to a conventional loan, which you would have to pay 25%. You know what 25% of a home loan is? If a home costs $350,000, you know what 25% is? That's like 80 grand. That's like over 80 grand that you come up with to purchase your second home with a conventional loan. That's hella money. That's crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy, but still, you got to save up a ton of money just to purchase that home when you could have just used another FHA. So and if Biden has his way, now you got two FHAs, you could potentially be saving $30,000. That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of cheddar. You can renovate a home with that. I mean, not really, unless you have like a really, really, really good contact with Home Depot and you can do everything yourself, including plumbing and electricity. But 15 grand is 15 grand, baby. Yo, you gotta take advantage of that. If you guys have any questions on how FHA works, or if this wasn't like clear cut for you enough and you want to know more, fucking Google that shit. No, I'm joking. just ask, just ask somebody who owns a home, I guess, or just ask us, you know, just go onto our page and be like, yo, how exactly does that shit work? Real easy. I mean, honestly, it's just like most with a home loan, like they just really look at your income, like how much you can afford. Basically, they take your monthly income, right? They take a percentage of that. Let's say like 60%, and that's how much of a loan, not a loan, but that's how much of a mortgage you can afford. So let's say 60% of whatever you make is like $1,500. That's basically what they're saying. Okay, you can afford $1,500. Half of that goes to taxes and escrow. So really, the other half goes to interest and to the principal amount of the loan. Now, the interesting thing about loans, and this is kind of fucked up, but banks will offset the loan very weirdly. So at the beginning of the loan, you're really paying significantly the interest that you would pay for the life of the loan. So at the beginning, it's very top heavy with interest. You're paying a bunch of interest. You're paying the life of the loan's interest, and you're paying very little of the principal. The reason why banks do that is because of refinancing. Banks know that you might refinance one day, and they're going to lose out on that interest if they had spread out the interest evenly through the life of the loan. So what banks do, they don't fucking tell you this, but they take all the interest that you would have paid evenly and they crunch it up to like the first 10 years or something. And all that interest, you're just paying off a bunch of interest. That way, when you refinance, you gotta take out a new loan, which they crunch up again the interest at the very beginning, and you just do the whole process all over again. Refinancing can be a trap. Refinancing is just a good way for banks to make even more money because they just collected all basically almost all the interest from your first loan. They're like, oh, this was cake. Now let's offer him refinancing so we can charge up more interest, top heavy of the loan, and just make more money. Now, obviously, there are benefits to refinancing, especially if the equity of the home, you know, goes up over time and then you can borrow from that. But you really got to do your calculations and really understand if you're saving money with refinancing. Like you really got to do your calculations. But yeah, banks do that shit. Um, I don't know why I started talking about refinancing, but with these interest rates that are going on right now, the 2.5%, people are getting tempted to refinance. People who have been in their loan for like 7 years, right? They'll look at that 2.5 and they're like, oh shit, that's a good rate. Let me refinance. When you refinance, you start the clock all over again. So, even you had 23 years left to pay off your loan. Now you're resetting the clock back to 30 years, and now you're paying another set of interest rates or another set of like interest payments. It's like crazy, crazy. And on top of that, the cost of refinance is significant. A lot of lenders will cost like I don't know, between $5,000 to $10,000 just to refinance your loan. So the banks are making money on just the fees alone to refinance your loan. It's crazy. 10 G's. Oh, we'll give you give me 10 G's. I'll refinance the loan, and now you're still going to be paying a huge chunk of interest at the at the forefront of the loan. It's crazy, man. You got to do your research. You got to do the calculations because sometimes I swear to God, it's not worth it. It's only worth it if like if you can't make the payment. Maybe your monthly payment is too high, and then you want to slash it, like cut it in half, maybe. Then it'd be beneficial for you in the short term, but in the long term, you're actually paying more for that home. Believe it or not, you will be paying more. But yeah, so back to the tax credit, 15K. That's legit. All right. Just Google that shit. Yeah. What's up, Deborah? What's going on, girl? Uh, so anyway, what was I saying? So I covered multifamily. I covered, FHA, and both partners getting FHA. That's like critical. If you want to build wealth, yo, take advantage of those FHAs, yo. I'm not saying don't get married, but maybe purchase the homes before you get married because, what is marriage, right? Especially since you can just get a divorce. Marriage seems less of a commitment when you can just get out of it so easily. So you can just wait on that, you know, get those homes, start building wealth. That's what you really need to do. That way, when you die, you leave your kids something. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna leave these chumps something. Be like, yo, here's a house, leave me alone. Bury me under the Gucci store, because I got you this stuff. I work for this to give you this. All right. But yeah, my co-hosts are not here to debate me on this. So now that my co-hosts are not here, yo, fuck Trump. Trump is a bitch. I'm just joking. He really is a bitch sometimes, though. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it. A lot of people be getting heated about Trump supporters and stuff, and other people are like, "Yo, what's wrong with supporting Trump?" I'm like, "There's nothing wrong with supporting Trump if you're very specific in what you're trying to achieve." You know what? I don't want to get into that. Anyway, so yeah, try to purchase a multifamily, build that wealth, do what you got to do, and oh yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. When you try, what I was trying to explain how you get that loan and how these banks calculate how much of a loan you can get. So, like I was saying, right? So, half of your mortgage goes to escrow and taxes. The other half goes to interest and the principal amount, right? So, if you calculate the principal amount through an average, that's how much of a loan that you can afford. So, out of that $100, they just said that you to afford for the mortgage payments. 1/4 is actually be for the loan amount, and so 1/4 of 1,500 times 12 times 30 is basically the amount that the bank will lend to you to purchase a home, which doesn't sound like a lot, especially if you don't make a lot. So one of the ways you can overcome, like let's say a bank is only willing to loan you like 200K because you don't make a lot of money. One of the ways you can overcome that is with the multifamily home, right? So with the multifamily home, you can show the bank like, look, if I buy this multifamily home, I'll be making an extra $1,500 a month if I rent out the other unit. That $1,500 can be used to pay for a mortgage. So the bank will consider that as a source of income and will increase the amount that they're willing to give you for the loan. So that's one of the ways that you can overcome that, because to be honest, in New England, it's hard to find a home that's like less than 300K. I mean, it's gonna be fuck if it's less than like 300K. It's be like in the middle of fucking nowhere. And even now, in the middle of nowhere, they're charging like 500K for a home. So especially for us New Englanders, we gotta figure out creative ways to like purchase a home. So FHA is the way to go, and multifamily. And you don't even need to be in the, if you're not fit for landlord, just be a landlord for a couple of years while the equity of your home builds up. Sell the house, get that profit, get a conventional loan, so that way you can purchase your next home, your private home, or your one family home, and you don't gotta be a landlord anymore. Just do it for the short time, so that way you'll get enough income to purchase the home that you really want, right? Things take time. It's not gonna like happen overnight. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. I made sacrifices. You just gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, any questions? No, I don't see any in the comments. I wonder if my co-hosts are watching me right now and they're like, "Yo, this bitch ass nigga did the show without us." That's what happens, bro. You're not you get the show must go on. You got to be out here. You got to be out on these streets. You got to push out content, and that's what I'm trying to do for this channel. So yeah, $15,000 credit through Biden. I think like I literally just heard of that like yesterday. I didn't even know he was running with that on his campaign. Like I had no idea. No one mentioned it. It was all about racism and COVID and Donald Trump is a Cheeto breath nigga. That's all they were running on for the whole campaign. And I didn't even know that he was doing this 15,000. Yo, I voted for Biden. If that's the case, I voted for Biden. Don't even question me on it. No questions. Biden's my man. Yo, he better push that out, bro. If he don't, he ain't black. I mean, he's not black anyway, but if he definitely does this, if he definitely doesn't do this, he's definitely not black in my book, no matter what happens. And he's old. That dude is like almost 80. He might not even survive a full term. We might be looking at the first black female president to take office because of a white guy croaking. Like that might be real, man. Joe Biden's old. Yo, I would not be surprised. But yeah, he better push that out. Now there are other things that he was pushing out, and it was really about taxes. Like he wanted to raise taxes on a certain bracket, and while that is true, he's also repealing a tax break that Trump pushed out at the beginning of his term. And the tax break was across the board. So Trump actually lowered taxes for all tax brackets. So, like for instance, if you're in the middle class and you were paying 25%, it got pushed down to like 21 or 22%. But with Joe Biden, he's actually repealing that tax thing, and he's bringing it back to normal levels. So even though he's not increasing taxes per se, he's just bringing them back to the levels that they were previous to Trump. And he's actually increasing the tax bracket for the 400K that these millionaires make. So that's gonna kind of suck. Uh, going back to taxes pre-Trump, but 3%. I don't know what that's gonna look like next year. I guess we're gonna see. Hopefully, it's not too much of a difference. But who knows? And hopefully Biden does win this election. You know, everything's up in the air right now. Things are getting really close to call. And don't believe these like news channels. News channels don't elect the president. They don't be like you got the Associated Press saying that Biden won Georgia, and you got New York Times saying that North Carolina just got nabbed by Trump. Like these organizations, they don't dictate who the president is. Like it's the Electoral College. Like we actually got to wait until December to see what the Electoral College says who the president is. That's who you should be getting the information from. These other news sources, they're just guessing. To be honest, they're taking an educational guess, but they're just guessing. The Electoral College are the ones. They're the ones that be like on December 5th, I believe. They'd be like, yeah, Joe is president. It's official. They're the ones that officially state it. Not a lot of people know. Not a lot of people know this, but you actually have a month to count all these votes. And normally, when there's like a landslide win, one side will concede. Trump's not conceding, and I don't blame him. I mean, the votes are very, very close. Talking about like a few thousand. So like, I don't blame the guy for like questioning it, but is he gonna win? Yeah, I doubt it. So hopefully, this win for Biden is a win for middle class because we need that. We need that. We need that money. And what's up with this stimulus check, man? 1,200. Like we haven't heard a peep about it. You haven't heard nothing about the stimulus check. Like, are they still even like drafting up proposals for that? Did they just like forget about that shit? Like, is Nancy Pelosi? Did she just give up? Did she was just like, oh wait, Biden won. We don't gotta do this shit no more. Yo, fuck these people. Nah, man, y'all better throw out that. Yo, I want to see another $1,200 check, man. What's up, man? I got 2 kids too. That's 500 a head. These kids ain't cheap, bro. Shit, I don't know about you guys, but I want to see these checks pushed out. Shit, my tenants need these checks so that way they can pay me, so that way I can pay my mortgage. Because I need to live. All right. All right, yo. So I'm gonna wrap this up. If you guys have any questions about FHA, like I said, Google that shit or just ask us. Just ask one of us. Know what I mean? Just be like, yo, how do I apply? What do I need to do? How many W-2s? How many bank statements do I need? What's the rate? You just ask us. You know, we're pretty knowledgeable. We know some shit. Meaning we know some shit. We don't know all the shit, but we know some shit. So just hit us up. Be like, yo, what's up? And we'll let you know. We'll let you know. We'll be real. If you're like a stripper, you know, you can buy a house if you're a stripper. That's not a problem. You just need taxes for 2 years. That's it. Show us those bank rolls that you've been getting at the strip joint. You can still buy a house. No matter if you're a stripper or grocery shop handler. Doesn't matter. You should be able to buy a house. Everybody should be able to buy a house. It's crazy how so many people are still renting. I mean, like it's not that bad to be renting. Some people just don't want to own a house. It's whatever, man. But if you guys have any suggestions, what else we should, let us know, and hopefully my cat hit me because I'm just actually there's a mirror behind this camera. I'm fighting myself. I'm like, yo, Trump is the best. He loves Puerto Ricans. He was throwing those. Trump was passing the toilet paper. He just finessed it. Donald Trump was finessing those toys, right? He loves Puerto Rico. Otherwise, he would Puerto Rico. He would call it, some trash or whatever. But he came. Yeah, I saw him passing toilet paper. It's crazy. Trump loves Puerto Ricans. I don't know about Haitians. He was talking shit about you Haitians. I don't know, man. But he loves Puerto Ricans. JK, I'm just joking. Anyway, yeah, so let us know what you think. Like and subscribe to our channel, The Man Cave, and we'll see you next time. Maybe if the world doesn't end. Peace!